In this video, we're going to talk about transformations to help us graph. So when we say the word transformations, we mean we're going to be starting with a graph that we already know, and we're just going to kind of move it around on our axes to get our final graph. And when dealing with any function, so we've learned about it for specific types of function, but you can do this for any function. There's kind of three types of transformations that we know. All right, you can add or subtract inside, near the x, so this could be inside a square root, inside an exponential, anything. Inside, near the x, that's going to move your graph left and right. Right, outside, away from the x, so kind of after the square root or after the squared or anything like that, that's going to move your graph up and down. And the last one we learned is you could put this negative at the front here. That negative just flips your graph upside down. All right, so let's say we had this example. We want to graph this function, negative square root of x minus 3 plus 4. First, you got to identify what is the main function I'm talking about. The main thing that's not the pluses and minuses is this square root. So we're going to start off with the square root graph, which is this red graph here. And if you ever forget with the square root graph, you can always just plug in values. Square root of 0 is 0, square root of 1 is 1, square root of 4 is 2. All right, then I have this minus 3. This minus 3 is actually going to move me right 3. So I just take this graph and I just slide it right to this blue graph. Then this plus 4 here is going to slide me up 4, right, to now this green graph. And the last thing I have is this minus sign. That minus sign is going to take this green graph and flip it upside down to this purple graph. So my final answer is just that purple graph. I have moved right, up, and then flipped to get that answer. But it all starts off with a square root graph. This one, x plus 2 squared minus 5. If we look at it, we kind of ignore the plus 2 and the minus 5. You can see we have this squared. So x squared is the first thing we're going to graph, and that's the parabola. And you can always plug in values to figure that part out. Then this plus 2 is going to move the graph left 2, so I slide it left. And this minus 5 is going to move it down 5, so I'm going to slide it down. And then this blue graph is the final answer. All right, so that's how I can use transformations. Things near the x move you left and right. Things over here move you up and down. So go ahead and practice that, and it'll help you with anything that you're graphing.